Hey everyone, I'm Jordan. What I'm about to share with you is a story about love, loyalty, and learning when to walk away. It's about how I gave someone everything, only to be told it was too much, and how karma has a way of coming full circle. So let me take you back about 6 months ago. I met Rebecca through mutual friends at a casual get-together. We're both in our late 20s, living in the same mid-sized city. She works in marketing. She's creative, outgoing, the kind of person who lights up a room. I work in finance, more analytical, steady. On paper, we were different, but somehow when we talked that first night, it just clicked. The first few months, they were incredible. We'd meet up for coffee dates before work, go on weekend hikes, spend entire Sundays binge-watching shows on the couch. We fell into this comfortable rhythm. I genuinely thought I'd found something real. Here's the thing about me. When I commit to someone, I go all in. I'm not the type to play games or keep one foot out the door. So when Rebecca mentioned she was stressed about a big campaign at work, I'd show up at her place with dinner already made. When she was too exhausted to deal with laundry or dishes, I'd handle it without being asked. She mentioned once that she'd always wanted to take a cooking class, so I signed us both up as a surprise. I wanted to be part of her world, to show her I was serious about us. I started turning down opportunities because of her. My boys would invite me to weekend trips. I declined because Rebecca and I had plans. There were networking events after work that could have been good for my career. I'd skip them to spend time with her. There was even a promotion at my company that would have meant more responsibility but also more travel, and I actually turned it down during the preliminary conversations because I thought, how can I build something with Rebecca if I'm always on the road? I sacrificed things. Looking back now, maybe I sacrificed too much. But at the time, it felt right. It felt like what you're supposed to do when you love someone. But there were red flags. Signs I chose to ignore because I was so focused on making things work. Rebecca was hesitant about making our relationship public. And I don't mean she wanted privacy. I respected that. I mean, she actively avoided acknowledging we were together. When her parents came to visit from out of town, she introduced me as a friend from work. Not her boyfriend. A friend. When we'd go to parties or events with her colleagues, she'd drift away from me, keep physical distance, like we were just acquaintances who happened to arrive together. Her social media? Forget about it. She'd post pictures of her brunch, her trips, her friends, but never me. Not once in 6 months did I appear in a single post. And when I gently brought it up, she'd say things like, I just like to keep my private life private, or social media isn't real life anyway. And I'd accept it, even though it stung. Then there were the comments. Little remarks here and there that felt like jabs. She'd mention her ex-boyfriend and how he was spontaneous or adventurous, with this tone that implied I wasn't those things. She'd say things like, you're so predictable, Jordan, but frame it as a compliment. I always know I can count on you. But it didn't feel like a compliment. It felt like she was comparing me to someone more exciting and finding me lacking. The breaking point for those early doubts came one evening when I was at her apartment. She'd gone to grab us some wine from the kitchen, and her laptop was sitting open on the coffee table. I wasn't trying to snoop, I promise I wasn't, but a message notification popped up on the screen. It was from some guy, someone I'd never heard her mention. The preview said something like, can't wait to see you again, beautiful. When she came back, I asked her about it. Tried to keep my tone casual, non-accusatory. Hey, who's that guy messaging you? She barely glanced at the screen. Oh, that's just Marcus. He's a contact from a networking event. He's a little flirty, but it's harmless. He's just like that with everyone. Seems like more than networking to me, I said. And that's when her tone shifted. She got defensive. Jordan, don't be insecure. It's nothing. You're acting jealous over a professional connection. I thought you were more mature than that. She flipped it on me, made me feel like I was the one with the problem for even questioning it. So I dropped it. I swallowed my discomfort and let it go. But the tension was building. I could feel it, even if I didn't want to admit it. And then came the party. It was a birthday party for one of my coworkers. Rebecca agreed to come with me, and I was actually excited. I thought, Finally, I get to introduce her to people I work with, show her off a little. We walked in together, grabbed drinks, and I saw my boss near the bar talking to a few people. I walked over with Rebecca beside me. "Hey, everyone," I said. "This is Rebecca, my girlfriend." Simple. Natural. Right? Rebecca smiled at them, said hello, played along in the moment. But I noticed her body language shift. She tensed up. Her smile felt forced. We stayed at the party for maybe another hour, but she was distant the whole time. Quiet. When we got into the Uber to head home, I thought maybe she was just tired. But then, halfway through the ride, she turned to me. Her voice was low, almost a whisper, but there was an edge to it. "Jordan, you can't do that." "Do what?" I asked, genuinely confused. "Call me your girlfriend in public like that. In front of your boss, in front of all those people." It felt like you were claiming ownership over me. It was too much pressure. It made me feel trapped. I just stared at her. We'd been together for 6 months. 6 months of me being there for her, supporting her, rearranging my life to make space for her. And she didn't want me to call her my girlfriend in public? "Rebecca, we've been dating for half a year. What am I supposed to call you?" "I don't know," she said, looking out the window. "Just my name? Why do we need labels?" I didn't know what to say. The rest of the ride was silent. When we got to her place, she kissed me on the cheek and said, "Let's talk about this tomorrow, okay?" But I already knew. That night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, I knew something had fundamentally shifted. And it wasn't going to get better. The next day, Rebecca texted me, "Can we talk? Coffee at our usual spot." I knew this conversation was coming. Part of me wanted to avoid it, but I also wanted answers. So I agreed. We met at this little cafe we'd been going to since our second date. It was mid-afternoon, not too crowded. She was already there when I arrived, sitting at a corner table with her oat milk latte. I ordered my usual black coffee and sat down across from her. For a moment, neither of us said anything. She was fidgeting with her cup, peeling at the sleeve. Finally, she looked up at me. "Jordan, I need to be honest with you about something." "Okay," I said. My stomach was already in knots. I've been thinking a lot about us, about what we are, what we're doing. And I realized something. I really enjoy spending time with you. I do. You're sweet, you're thoughtful, you're always there for me. But, there it was, the but. But I feel like things are moving too fast. Like there's this pressure building, and I'm not ready for it. "What pressure?" I asked. "I haven't asked you for anything except to be honest about what we are." "That's just it," she said. "Labels. Calling me your girlfriend in front of people. It creates expectations. It makes people think we're heading somewhere serious, and I don't know if I'm ready for that." I set my coffee down. "Rebecca, we've been together for 6 months. We spend almost every day together. How is acknowledging that we're in a relationship too much pressure?" She took a breath. "My therapist and I have been talking about this, about how I have a pattern of jumping into relationships too quickly, settling for stability, when maybe I should be exploring more. She thinks I need to figure out who I am outside of being someone's girlfriend." "So, what are you saying? You want to break up?" "No," she said quickly. "That's not what I'm saying. I need space. Not physical space, but emotional space. I need to know that I'm with you because I choose to be, not because I feel obligated or trapped by a label." "I've never tried to trap you," I said. My voice was calm, but I was frustrated. "I've only ever tried to support you." "I know. And you do. You're amazing at that. But that's part of the problem, Jordan. You're so stable. So predictable. I always know exactly what I'm going to get with you. And maybe that's what I need to figure out, if I want predictable or if I want something more exciting. More spontaneous." That word again. Spontaneous. Like stability was boring. Like being reliable was a flaw. "So, what do you want from me?" I asked. She reached across the table like she was going to take my hand, but then pulled back. "I want us to keep seeing each other. But I need you to understand that I'm not ready for labels. No girlfriend or boyfriend talk in public. No posting about us on social media. No introducing me to your family or making plans like we're heading towards something serious. Can we just keep it light? Keep it fun? I should have said no right there. I should have stood up, paid for my coffee, and walked out. But I didn't. Because I cared about her. Because I thought maybe if I gave her what she needed, she'd eventually realize I was what she wanted. Okay, I said. If that's what you need, we can do that. Her face lit up. Really? Thank you, Jordan. This is exactly why you're so special to me. You understand. But I didn't understand. I didn't understand how someone could spend 6 months with you and still not know if they wanted you. I didn't understand how being dependable had become a negative thing. We left the coffee shop together, and on the surface, everything seemed fine. She kissed me goodbye like she always did, said she'd text me later. But something inside me had shifted. Over the next few weeks, I started pulling back. Not in an obvious way. I wasn't trying to punish her or play games. But I stopped going out of my way for her. When she texted asking if I wanted to come over after work, I'd say yes only if I actually had nothing else going on. If my friends invited me out, I went. If there was a work event, I attended. I stopped rearranging my life around her schedule. I started focusing on myself, going to the gym more, reconnecting with hobbies I'd let slip, even revisiting that promotion opportunity I'd previously declined. I reached back out to my manager and said I'd be interested after all. Rebecca noticed. Of course she noticed. You've been distant lately, she said one night when I was at her place. I've just been busy with work, I replied. Which was true, but it was also more than that. It feels like you're pulling away from me. I looked at her. You asked for space, Rebecca. I'm giving you space. Not like this, she said. I didn't mean for you to just disappear. I'm not disappearing. I'm just living my life. Isn't that what you wanted? For both of us to have freedom? She didn't have an answer for that. The truth is, I wasn't angry. I was just done trying so hard for someone who wouldn't meet me halfway. I still cared about her, but I'd stopped making her the center of my world. And that shift changed everything. About 2 months after that coffee shop conversation, I went to a trivia night with some buddies. I almost didn't go. I'd had a long week at work and was tempted to just stay in. But my friend Devin convinced me, said I'd been too isolated lately, needed to get out more. So I went. And that's where I met Maya. She was there with her own group of friends, sitting at the table next to ours. Our teams ended up tied at the end, and we had a sudden death tiebreaker question. Her team won, and she came over to our table afterward, jokingly gloating about their victory. Better luck next time, she said with this playful smile. We'll get you next week, I shot back. You're confident. I like that. I'm Maya, by the way. Jordan. We ended up talking for the rest of the night. She was easy to talk to, straightforward, funny, no games. At the end of the evening, she asked for my number. Just like that. No ambiguity, no playing it cool. She was interested, and she wasn't afraid to show it. We went out for dinner a few days later, then coffee that weekend, then a movie the next week. By our third date, I knew this was different. Maya was clear about what she wanted. She asked me directly, so, are we dating exclusively, or are you seeing other people? No beating around the bush. No, let's just keep it casual. She wanted to know where we stood. I'm not seeing anyone else, I said. And I don't want to. If you're asking if I want to be exclusive with you, the answer is yes. She smiled. Good. Me too. That was it. Clear. Simple. Honest. A few weeks later, one of our mutual friends was throwing a party. It was actually someone who knew both me and Rebecca. We ran in overlapping social circles. I knew there was a chance Rebecca would be there, but I wasn't going to avoid living my life because of it. Maya and I showed up together. We walked in holding hands, got drinks, started mingling. At one point, my friend Jason came over to us. He'd known me for years, seen me with Rebecca plenty of times. Hey, Jordan.
Good to see you, man.
And who's this? I didn't hesitate. I didn't overthink it. I just said what felt natural. Jason, this is Maya. My girlfriend. Maya squeezed my hand and smiled at him. Nice to meet you. You too. Jordan, "It's good to see you happy, brother." And I was happy. Genuinely happy. For the first time in months, I wasn't walking on eggshells or wondering if I was too much or not enough. I was just myself. But here's the thing, Rebecca was at that party. She was across the room, talking to someone but close enough to hear. I saw her freeze. Saw her turn and look at me, then at Maya, then back at me. Her expression changed, shock, then hurt, then something else I couldn't quite read. A few minutes later, I saw her heading toward the door. She grabbed her coat, said something quick to the person she'd been talking to, and left. One of our mutual friends texted me later that night. "Dude, Rebecca left crying. What happened?" I didn't respond, because the truth was, nothing happened. I'd simply done what she'd refused to let me do months earlier. I'd introduced someone I cared about as my girlfriend. The same scenario, the same type of party. But this time, I wasn't the one left feeling confused and inadequate. This time, the roles were reversed. And as harsh as it sounds, there was a sense of closure in that. I want to be clear about something. I didn't take pleasure in Rebecca's pain. I wasn't vindictive or trying to hurt her. I'd simply moved on with my life. But what happened to her next? I heard about it through our mutual friends, piece by piece, and it was hard to watch, even from a distance. About a week after that party, I heard Rebecca had started seeing someone new. His name was Brett. He was a freelance photographer, the artsy, free-spirit type. Exactly the kind of spontaneous and exciting person she'd said she was looking for. From what I heard, things moved fast between them. Really fast. She posted about him constantly on social media, something she'd never done with me. Pictures of them at art galleries, late-night adventures, weekend trips to the coast. All those things she'd said were too much pressure with me. Apparently, they weren't too much pressure with Brett. I'll admit, seeing those posts stung a little at first. Not because I wanted her back, but because it confirmed what I'd suspected all along. It wasn't about labels or pressure.
It was about me.
I wasn't exciting enough for her. I was too predictable, too stable, too boring. But Maya noticed me getting quiet one night while scrolling through my phone. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Just seeing stuff from my ex. She's with someone new." Maya looked at me. No judgment, no jealousy. "Does that bother you?" "Honestly, a little. Not because I want her back. Just because it makes me wonder if I was the problem all along." Maya took my phone, set it down, and turned to face me. "Jordan, you're not a problem that needs fixing. You're someone who knows what you want and isn't afraid to ask for it. If she couldn't appreciate that, that's on her. Not you." That's the thing about Maya. She was secure. She didn't see my past as a threat. She saw it as something that had shaped me but didn't define me. Meanwhile, Rebecca's relationship with Brett was unraveling. I heard from friends that Brett was unreliable. He'd cancel plans last minute, disappear for days without explanation, forget important dates. He was struggling financially, always between freelance gigs, always asking Rebecca to cover dinners, rent, bills. She was essentially supporting him. And then there was the emotional side. Friends told me Brett was manipulative. He'd gaslight her, make her doubt herself, twist situations to make her feel like she was overreacting. When she'd try to have serious conversations about where their relationship was going, he'd shut down and say she was too intense or too needy. Sound familiar? The irony wasn't lost on anyone who knew the situation. Rebecca had wanted freedom from my suffocating stability, only to end up with someone who gave her chaos. About 4 months into their relationship, Rebecca caught Brett texting other women. Not just friendly texts, flirty messages, making plans to meet up, telling them he was single. When she confronted him, he didn't even try to hide it. "I thought we were keeping things casual," he said. "You're acting way too possessive right now." She was devastated. The relationship ended that night, messy and painful. But Rebecca's problems didn't stop there. Her work had been suffering for months. She'd been distracted, missing deadlines, producing subpar work. Her boss had given her warnings, chances to turn things around, but she couldn't pull it together. And then one day, she was let go. They called it performance issues, but everyone knew the real reason: Her personal life had completely derailed her professional life. She had to move out of her apartment, couldn't afford rent on her own without her marketing salary. So she packed up and moved back in with her parents at 27 years old. Socially, she'd become isolated too. Our mutual friends started distancing themselves, not because they were cruel, but because they'd heard how she'd treated me. How she'd kept me at arm's length while I bent over backward for her. How she'd refused to commit to me but jumped headfirst into something toxic with someone else.
People talked.
And Rebecca's reputation took a hit. The freedom she'd been so desperate for, it had turned into loneliness. The excitement she'd chased, it had left her broken. The spontaneity she'd craved, it had cost her everything stable in her life. I didn't celebrate any of this, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me that thought, maybe karma is real. It started with a text message. I was at work, middle of the afternoon, when my phone buzzed. A number I didn't have saved, but I recognized it immediately. Rebecca. Hey, Jordan. I know it's been a while. I was hoping we could talk. I've been thinking about you a lot lately, and I think I owe you an explanation. Can we meet for coffee? I stared at the message for a long time, read it 3-4 times, and then I deleted it. I didn't block her number, not yet. But I wasn't going to respond either. The texts kept coming. Over the next few days, then weeks, they got more frequent, more desperate. I know I messed up. I see that now. You didn't deserve how I treated you. I miss you. I miss us. Can we please just talk? I need closure. That word, closure. Like I owed her something. Like after everything, I was supposed to sit down and help her feel better about the choices she'd made. Then came the voicemails. The first one was short. Hey, it's me. I saw you didn't respond to my texts. I get it, you're probably busy. But when you have a chance, please call me back.
There's so much I need to say to you.
The second one was longer, her voice cracking. Jordan, please. I'm going through a really hard time right now. I know I don't have the right to ask you for anything, but I need to hear your voice. I need to know you don't hate me. I didn't hate her, but I also didn't owe her my time or emotional energy. So I still didn't respond. And then one evening, I came home from the gym to find her sitting outside my apartment building. She was on the steps leading to the entrance, hood pulled up, arms wrapped around her knees. When she saw me approaching, she stood up quickly. Jordan. Rebecca, what are you doing here? I needed to see you. You're not answering my texts or calls, and I couldn't leave things like this. There's nothing to leave, I said, keeping my tone calm but firm. You made your choices. I respected them. I've moved on. But I haven't, she said, her voice breaking. I haven't moved on. I made a huge mistake, and I need you to understand that. I need you to forgive me. I'm not angry at you, Rebecca. But forgiveness doesn't mean I'm going to let you back into my life. It just means I'm not carrying what happened around with me anymore. So that's it? You're just done. Yes, I said. I'm done. She started crying then, right there on the steps. The doorman was watching from inside, probably unsure if he should intervene. I felt bad for her. I really did. But feeling bad for someone doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your peace for them. Please don't shut me out like this, she said. I know I hurt you, but you're hurting me now too. Rebecca, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to protect myself. And the best way I can do that is by keeping distance. I'm sorry you're struggling. I genuinely am. But I can't be the person who helps you through it. I walked past her, into the building, and didn't look back. The next day, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered, thinking it might be work-related. Hello. Jordan? This is Natalie, Rebecca's sister. I closed my eyes.
Natalie.
I'm calling because Rebecca is really not doing well. I'm worried about her. She's depressed. She's not eating. She barely leaves her room. And she says it's because you won't talk to her. I'm sorry to hear she's struggling. She just wants closure, Jordan. Is that really too much to ask? She made mistakes, yes, but you're being cruel by ignoring her like this. She just needs to talk to you, to explain herself, and then she can start to heal. Natalie, with all due respect, Rebecca's healing isn't my responsibility. She ended things between us in her own way, and I've moved on. I'm with someone else now." "You've moved on?" She sounded shocked, almost offended. "Already?" "It's been months," I said. "And yes, I have. I'm happy. And I'm asking Rebecca and you to respect that." "You know what, Jordan? I thought you were a good guy. But maybe Rebecca was right about you. Maybe you are cold." I didn't take the bait. I wish Rebecca the best. I hope she finds what she's looking for. But she's not going to find it with me. I hung up. A few days later, another call. This time, Rebecca's mom. She was kinder than Natalie, more diplomatic. "Jordan, honey, I know you and Rebecca didn't end on the best terms. But she's my daughter, and I'm watching her fall apart. I'm asking you as a mother if you could just give her one conversation. Just one. So she can have some closure and start to move forward." "Mrs. Anderson, I understand you're worried about her. But talking to me isn't going to help her move forward. It's going to keep her stuck in the past. The best thing Rebecca can do is focus on herself, maybe talk to her therapist, and stop trying to revisit something that's over." There was a long pause. Then, "You've really changed, Jordan. Rebecca used to say you were one of the kindest people she knew." "I'm still kind," I said quietly. "But I've also learned to set boundaries. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is walk away." After that call, I blocked Rebecca's number, blocked her on all social media, set my accounts to private. I even changed some of my regular routines, went to a different gym, avoided places I knew she might be. I wasn't hiding from her. I was protecting my peace. Maya asked me once if I felt guilty about not giving Rebecca closure. "No," I said, "because closure isn't something someone else can give you. It's something you have to find within yourself." If I sat down with her, answered all her questions, apologized for things I didn't even do wrong, she'd still feel empty afterward. Because what she's really looking for isn't closure. It's absolution. And I can't give her that. Maya nodded. "I'm proud of you for holding your boundary." And that meant more to me than any apology from Rebecca ever could. 6 months had passed since I'd last spoken to Rebecca. 6 months of building a life with Maya, a healthy, honest relationship built on mutual respect and clear communication. We'd moved in together, and every day I woke up grateful that I'd walked away when I did. Then came the wedding invitation. One of our mutual friends, Kelly, was getting married. She'd been a good friend to both me and Rebecca, and I knew it would be awkward having us both there. But Kelly assured me she'd talk to Rebecca, and Rebecca had promised to be respectful. "I want you there, Jordan," Kelly said. "You're important to me, and I promise it'll be fine." So Maya and I RSVP'd yes. The wedding was beautiful, outdoor ceremony, perfect weather, everything you'd want for a special day. Maya looked stunning in her dress, and I felt proud walking in with her, knowing we were solid. During the cocktail hour, I saw Rebecca across the lawn. She was alone, standing by the bar, looking thinner than I remembered, tired. Our eyes met for a brief second, and then she looked away quickly, like she'd been caught doing something wrong. I didn't approach her. I wasn't trying to be cold, but I also wasn't going to pretend we were friends. We weren't. The reception moved inside, dinner was served, speeches were made. Everything was going smoothly. Maya and I were at our table with some friends, laughing, enjoying ourselves. And then I saw Rebecca walking toward us. My stomach tightened. Maya noticed my expression and followed my gaze. "Is that her?" Maya whispered. I nodded. Rebecca stopped at our table. She looked directly at me, ignoring everyone else sitting there. "Jordan, can I talk to you? Please? Just for a minute." Maya squeezed my hand under the table, not possessive, just supportive, letting me know she was there. I stood up. "We can talk over there," I said, gesturing to a quieter corner away from our table. I wasn't going to make Maya sit through this, and I wasn't going to cause a scene at Kelly's wedding. Rebecca followed me to the side of the room, near the windows overlooking the garden. "Thank you for talking to me," she said, her voice small. "What do you want to say, Rebecca?" She took a shaky breath. "I know I messed up. I know I hurt you, and I've regretted it every single day since you walked away." "Okay," I said, keeping my voice neutral. Brett was a disaster. The worst mistake I ever made. He was everything I thought I wanted: exciting, spontaneous, unpredictable. But he was also cruel and selfish, and he didn't care about me the way you did. "I'm sorry that happened to you," I said. "And I meant it. But I'm not sure what you want me to say." "I want you to give me another chance," she said, her eyes welling up. "I know that's asking a lot. I know I don't deserve it. But I've changed, Jordan. I've learned from my mistakes. I know what I want now, and it's you. It was always you. I was just too scared to admit it." I looked at her for a long moment. There was a time when hearing those words would have meant everything to me, when I would have taken her back in a heartbeat, grateful that she finally saw my worth. But that time had passed. "Rebecca," I said gently, "I appreciate you being honest with me, but the answer is no." "Why?" she asked, tears streaming down her face now. "Is it because of her? Because of Maya?" "It's because of me," I said. "It's because I've spent the last year learning to value myself, learning that I deserve someone who doesn't need to lose me to realize what they had. Maya knows what she wants. She's never made me feel like too much or not enough. She never been ashamed to call me her boyfriend. And I'm not going to walk away from that. But we had something special. We had something broken," I interrupted. "You made it very clear that what I was offering wasn't what you wanted. And I respected that. I walked away. I moved on. You don't get to come back now and rewrite history because things didn't work out the way you hoped." "So that's it," she said, her voice rising slightly. "You're just going to throw away everything we had?" "I'm not throwing anything away. You threw it away months ago. I'm just refusing to pick up the pieces and pretend they can be put back together." She was fully crying now, mascara running, hands shaking. "I came here tonight hoping, I don't know what I was hoping for, that maybe you'd see me and remember what we had, that you'd realize you still care." "I do care," I said. "I care enough to wish you well. I care enough to hope you find someone who makes you happy. But I care about myself too much to go back to something that was never going to work. Please, Jordan, please. I'm begging you. Just give me one more chance."
No, Rebecca.
My answer is no, and it's going to stay no. I didn't wait for her response. I walked back to my table, sat down next to Maya, and took her hand. "You okay?" Maya asked quietly. "Yeah," I said. "I'm good." Rebecca left the wedding shortly after. I saw her walk out, alone, grabbing her coat from the check. A few people noticed. There were whispers, but I didn't watch her go. I turned my attention back to the celebration, to the people I cared about, to the woman sitting beside me who'd never once made me question my worth. The next day, I changed my phone number, blocked every possible avenue of contact. I wasn't being cruel. I was being clear. There was nothing left to say, nothing left to revisit. A few weeks later, I accepted the promotion I'd been working toward, the one that had more responsibility, more travel, more challenge. Maya supported me completely. We talked about how we'd make the travel work, how we'd prioritize time together even when work got busy. It was everything I'd wanted with Rebecca, but could never have. A partnership built on honesty, support, and mutual commitment. I ran into one of our old mutual friends a few months after the wedding. He told me Rebecca had moved to a different city, taken a new job, was trying to start fresh. I was glad to hear it. I hoped she found happiness. I genuinely did. But I also knew, without any doubt, that I'd made the right decision. Because here's what I learned through all of this. Love isn't just about feelings. It's about actions. It's about showing up. It's about being proud to claim someone publicly, not just in private. It's about commitment, even when it's scary. Rebecca wanted freedom, and I gave it to her.
Permanently.
And in doing so, I found my own freedom. The freedom to be with someone who chooses me every single day, without hesitation. That's the story. That's how I went from being told I was too much to finding someone who thinks I'm just right. From being someone's maybe to being someone's absolutely. If you're going through something similar right now, if someone is making you feel like you're asking for too much just by wanting basic respect and commitment, I'm telling you, walk away. Don't wait for them to realize your worth. Don't accept breadcrumbs when you deserve the whole meal. Find someone who isn't afraid to call you theirs, who doesn't need to lose you to appreciate you, who sees your stability as a strength, not a weakness. You deserve that. I deserved that. And I'm grateful every day that I finally realized it. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, drop a comment below.
Let's talk about it.
And remember, knowing your worth isn't selfish. It's survival. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you in the next one.